Hey everyone. Today's story was requested by one of my Patreon members. If you'd like to see your own ideas turned into future stories, be sure to check out my Patreon. There are already over 850 stories available, with new parts released every day. That's almost 1,000 audio story chapters ready to enjoy. You can also submit your own ideas and vote in weekly polls to help decide what stories come next. Poll number 31 is currently active on Patreon, and this story was chosen by Patreon members. All the links are in the description and pinned comment. Subscribe, stay connected, and enjoy the story. The blade had fallen. Naruto Uzumaki remembered the cold bite of steel against his neck, the roar of the crowd, and the faces of those he once loved twisted in satisfaction. Hinata standing beside Sasuke. Tsunade signing the execution order. Sakura pregnant with another man's child. Sarada's existence as living proof of their betrayal. 2 years after the Fourth Great Ninja War, the hero of the leaf was discarded like trash. And then everything went black. When light returned, Naruto found himself sitting on a familiar rooftop in Konoha. His body was small again, 13 years old, scrawny, full of youthful energy that now felt like a cruel joke. But his mind was ancient with pain and burning with pure, unfiltered hatred. Memories flooded him. Every smile that hid a knife. Every promise broken. Every person who had called him precious only to deliver him to the executioner. His fists clenched until blood dripped from his palms. "I won't be their hero again," he whispered, voice low and dangerous. "This time, I'll be their nightmare." He stayed on the rooftop for a long time, simply watching the village wake up. The sun rose over the familiar buildings. Children ran through the streets laughing. Vendors opened their stalls. Everything looked exactly as he remembered from his first life. Innocent, peaceful, and completely fake. Naruto closed his eyes and let the memories come. He saw Hinata's gentle smile during the war, and then the same smile she gave Sasuke behind his back. He saw Tsunade patting his head after a mission, and later signing papers that sealed his fate. He saw Sakura's worried face when he returned injured, and the way she looked at Sasuke when she thought no one was watching. Every kind word, every shared meal, every moment of family, now tasted like poison. A shadow clone appeared beside him without a word. The clone looked at the village with the same cold eyes. "Everything is in place," the clone said quietly. "No one suspects anything. The real you can move freely." Naruto nodded. "Good. Keep acting like the usual loud idiot. I need time." The clone disappeared in a puff of smoke. Naruto stood up, brushed off his clothes, and began walking through the village streets like any normal day. He passed by the academy. He saw Iruka-sensei talking to students. For a moment, old warmth tried to rise in his chest, but he crushed it immediately. Iruka had been kind in the past. But in the future, even he had stayed silent when the execution order was announced. Naruto continued walking. He saw Hinata in the distance, training with her family. She looked gentle and graceful as always. His heart didn't ache anymore. It only burned with cold resolve. A flash of future memory hit him, a scene that would soon become reality. In a dark, isolated dimension, Kaguya Otsutsuki hung suspended from thick chakra chains attached to the ceiling. Her legendary body was completely exposed, pale skin flushed deep red with forced arousal. Her long, silky white hair cascaded down her back, sticking to sweat-covered skin. Massive, heavy breasts heaved with every breath. Her legs were forced wide apart by the restraints, revealing her most private place. Naruto's powerful sword pressed against her entrance. Kaguya's Rinna Sharingan eyes were hazy with overwhelming submission. "Master, please, use your worthless goddess," she moaned, voice trembling. Her mind, once that of a proud progenitor, had been rewritten by the seals. Pain had become ecstasy. Resistance had become addiction. Naruto thrust forward in one brutal motion. Unlock the full uncensored 18+ scene on Patreon. Kaguya's back arched violently, a scream of pure masochistic pleasure tearing from her throat. "And deeper. Destroy me more," Kaguya begged, tongue hanging out, eyes crossed in mindless bliss. She no longer cared about her divine status. Being Naruto's personal dump, his broken toy, this was her new purpose. Her reward. Unfortunately, this platform doesn't allow for more description. The vision faded. Naruto shook his head, a dark grin spreading across his face. That future would become reality very soon. It all began during the final confrontation at the Valley of the End. The air crackled with chakra. Sasuke stood on one side of the river, his Rinnegan and Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan activated, ready for their destined battle. Naruto, still playing the role of the loudmouthed ninja, prepared his usual approach. But something was wrong. The sky tore open with a violent rift. A figure fell from it, crashing hard into the ground right beside Naruto. A young woman with short black hair, red glasses, and the unmistakable Uchiha crest on her back. She groaned, blood trickling from her forehead, half conscious from the temporal displacement. Sarada Uchiha. Naruto froze. Memories slammed into him like a hammer. In the future, this girl was living proof of everything they had taken from him. Sakura had been pregnant with Sasuke's child while he was fighting for the village. Hinata had been secretly meeting with Sasuke. The entire village had turned on him after the war, calling him too dangerous to live. Sarada tried to lift her head. Father. I came back to make sure the future stays. Naruto has to lose here for peace. Her words confirmed everything. Naruto's hand shot forward faster than she could react. He grabbed her by the throat, lifting her slightly off the ground. His other hand formed a complex series of seals he had memorized from the darkest parts of his future memories, seals that combined Uzumaki Fuinjutsu with stolen Otsutsuki techniques. You're too early, little traitor, he hissed, eyes glowing red with Kyuubi's chakra. But you'll make an excellent first prisoner. A swirling vortex opened beneath Sarada's feet. She barely managed a choke scream before she disappeared into a newly created pocket dimension. Heavy chains immediately wrapped around her body, suspending her from the ceiling, legs forced wide apart, a blindfold covering her eyes. The chains began draining her chakra while feeding it back to accelerate future pregnancies. The first of the 10 was secured. The battle with Sasuke continued, but Naruto fought with cold calculation. He allowed the fight to end in a stalemate, retreating while the village remained distracted by the ongoing war. That night, as chaos still reigned, Kaguya Otsutsuki finally made her appearance. The rabid goddess descended upon the battlefield like a divine judgment, intending to reclaim all chakra and end the pointless conflict. Her Byakugan and Rinne Sharingan scanned the area with absolute authority. But Naruto was waiting. With Kyuubi's full power unleashed for the first time not as a curse but as a willing alliance, and multiple shadow clones acting as distractions, Naruto struck. He used a combination of sealing chains, stolen time-stop techniques he had glimpsed in the future, and raw hatred-fueled power. Kaguya fought like the goddess she was. Truth-seeking balls tore through the landscape. Her immense chakra threatened to erase him. But Naruto's rage was deeper than any divine power. He closed the distance, slamming a specially prepared submission seal directly onto her forehead. From now on, you belong to me. The battle lasted hours, but in the end, Kaguya fell to her knees before the 13-year-old boy who should have been nothing to her. He dragged her broken but still conscious body into the same type of isolated dimension where Sarada now waited. There, the real work began. Kaguya hung suspended, chains absorbing her godlike chakra and redirecting it. Naruto stood before her, his young body already enhanced by the fox's power. His sword stood unnaturally large, thick, and veined, thanks to the modifications he had planned in his mind. At first, Kaguya resisted. Insolent mortal! I will erase you! But the seals activated. Pride shattered into masochistic need. Her divine mind was slowly rewritten, one thrust at a time. Naruto stepped closer, running his hands over Kaguya's perfect, pale body. Her skin was impossibly smooth, glowing with an ethereal light. Her enormous breasts were larger than her head. Such a proud goddess, Naruto murmured, voice thick with dark satisfaction. Look at you now. He started with slow, deliberate touches. His fingers traced her collarbone, moved down to cup one massive breast. Kaguya gasped, her body betraying her as a shiver ran through her. A soft moan escaped her lips despite her attempts to stay silent. His other hand slid between her thighs. He rubbed her button in slow circles, watching her hips twitch involuntarily. Your body knows its place even if your mind doesn't yet. Kaguya bit her lip, Rinne Sharingan eyes flickering with conflict. This humiliation. I won't, on! Naruto smirked, and pushed 2 fingers inside. The unedited version with all the scenes the platform doesn't allow is waiting for you on Patreon. Kaguya's head fell back, a loud moan escaping her as her body arched into his touch. Please stop this feeling, it's too much. She whimpered, but she was grinding against his hand, seeking more. Naruto pulled his fingers out. He positioned his massive sword at her entrance. Want every forbidden detail? Unlock the full story on Patreon for just $4. Kaguya's mind was breaking. Every thrust sent sparks of pleasure through her immortal body. The seals amplified everything. I'm a goddess. How can this feel so good? She thought, mind growing foggy. Her tongue lolled out, eyes rolling back. Naruto continued mercilessly. He switched positions, releasing the chains momentarily. He pulled her hair, forcing her to look back at him. Say it. Say you belong to me. I belong to Master Naruto. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. This is my reward, being used by Master, she whispered reverently. Naruto stepped back, breathing heavily. Kaguya remained suspended, gently swaying, a content and broken expression on her divine features. A special seal connected her 3 holes directly to his wand. She would always be available, hidden in his shadow. He created a comfortable throne from Chakra and sat down, pulling Kaguya onto his lap as a living chair. Kyuubi's voice echoed in his mind. Not bad, kid. I'm in. What's next? Anko. Then Hinata. One by one they'll all fall, Naruto replied, stroking Kaguya's hair. The 10 would pay. And the world would burn with them. Later that night, Naruto sat alone on the roof of an abandoned building on the edge of the village. He created several shadow clones and sent them in different directions, one to watch the Hyuga compound, one to observe the hospital where Tsunade often stayed late, and one to follow Anko's usual patrol route. While the clones worked, the real Naruto stayed still and thought. He remembered the exact moment everything changed in the future. After the war, when the village decided he was too powerful and too unstable to live, Hinata had been the one to deliver the final blow to his trust. Sakura's pregnancy had been revealed publicly. Tsunade had looked at him with cold eyes and said, "For the safety of the village." Sarada's arrival had only confirmed what he already suspected. He closed his eyes and focused on the dimension where Sarada was held. Through the connection, he could feel her fear. She was awake now, hanging in chains, blindfolded, forced to hear fragments of the future she tried to protect. Her thoughts were confused and terrified. She still believed she had come to help her father. She had no idea that her very existence had helped destroy Naruto's future. Naruto didn't feel pity. He only felt cold satisfaction. He spent the rest of the night walking through the sleeping village one more time. He passed by the ramen stand where he used to eat with Irika. He passed by the training grounds where Team 7 had laughed together. Every place brought back memories, and every memory strengthened his resolve. By the time the sun began to rise again, Naruto had already mapped out the next 3 targets in detail. Anko would be next. She was often alone and predictable. Then Hinata. Then Tsunade. He returned to his small apartment, lay down on the bed, and closed his eyes. Kaguya remained in his shadow, warm and obedient, gently serving as his living pillow without anyone knowing. The plan was only beginning. The 10 would fall one by one. And when they were all broken, the real revenge would start. If you're enjoying the story so far, I'd really appreciate a like, a subscription, and a comment. It really helps the channel grow and motivates me to keep creating more stories. Now, let's get back to the story. The next morning came quietly for the village, but not for Naruto. He moved through the streets of Konoha with a calm smile on his young face, playing the role of the cheerful orphan perfectly. No one suspected that the real monster was already wide awake inside him. He stopped by Ichiraku Ramen like he always did. Old man Tuchi greeted him warmly, and Naruto laughed at the usual jokes about eating too much. But behind every smile, memories from the future kept surfacing. He remembered the cold morning of his execution, 2 years after the 4th Great Ninja War. The village square had been packed. People he once protected stood in the crowd, some cheering, some just watching in silence. Hinata had stood beside Sasuke, her eyes empty. Tsunade had signed the order with a tired, disappointed look. Sakura was already showing signs of pregnancy with Sarada. And Anko. Anko had simply stood there with her arms crossed, saying nothing as the blade fell. That memory still hurt more than anything. Kaguya remained hidden in his shadow, a constant, warm, and obedient presence. The connection seal allowed him to feel her 3 holes at any moment. Right now, as he walked toward the training grounds, her tight throat gently massaged his wand, keeping him pleasured without drawing attention. Inside the private dimension, Kaguya served as both mount and reward. She was on all fours, completely naked, acting as Naruto's personal chair. Her massive melons hung heavily, sensitive buttons brushing against the cold floor. Naruto sat on her back, feeling her warm body tremble beneath him. "Stay still, my goddess," he ordered, casually reading through stolen scrolls about Anko's patrol routes. Kaguya whimpered, her body trembling with need. "Yes, master, your throne exists only to serve you." Naruto began to move, shifting his weight as he studied the maps. "More, please destroy your goddess more," she begged mentally, completely addicted. Being used like this was her only joy now. Unfortunately, the platform doesn't allow for more description. Before starting the real work, Naruto spent time maintaining his cover. He created several shadow clones and sent them to different parts of the village, one to train openly at the grounds, another to help with minor cleanup after the war, and a third to simply wander and greet people. It was important that no one noticed anything strange. He had learned in the future how quickly suspicion could grow. While the clones did their work, the real Naruto sat on a quiet rooftop, looking out over Konoha. He thought about the list. Anko was first because she had once been close to him during training, yet in the future she had done nothing when he needed help most. The memory of her standing silently during his execution still made his blood boil. He closed his eyes and let the hatred fuel him, but he also reminded himself to stay patient. Rushing would ruin everything. Kyubi's voice spoke inside his mind. "Kid, you're doing well keeping up the act. But don't forget, the longer you play the hero here, the more satisfying it will be when they all realize the truth." Naruto smirked. "I know. That's why I'm taking it slow. Anko first, then the others one by one. Each fall will hurt the village more." He spent another hour reviewing Anko's habits from the scrolls he had taken. She liked to patrol the outer forests alone, especially near old Orochimaru hideouts. It was a perfect isolated spot. He also checked on the dimension where Sarada was being held. The girl was still unconscious, chained safely, forced to watch fragments of the future she had tried to protect. Naruto felt no pity. She had come back to ensure his defeat. She would watch everything unfold instead. Anko Mitarashi was his first real target from the list. She was patrolling the forest outskirts alone, a habit from her days in the Umbu and Orochimaru's experiments. Wild, sadistic, and powerful with her snakes, she had once been someone Naruto looked up to. In the future, she had stood by and watched his execution without a word. Now she would pay. Using Kaguya's space-time abilities, Naruto opened a small portal near Anko's location. He struck fast. A shadow clone distracted her with a loud Rasengan while the real Naruto appeared behind her, slamming a powerful sealing tag onto her neck. The tag, reinforced by Kaguya's chakra, instantly suppressed most of her movements. "What the? Naruto! You little brat, what are you?" Her words were cut off as another portal swallowed her whole. She tumbled into the dark dimension, landing hard on the cold floor. Anko tried to summon her snakes, but the chains reacted instantly. Thick restraints shot from the ceiling, wrapping around her wrists and ankles. They pulled her up, suspending her in the air, legs spread obscenely wide, arms stretched above her head. A blindfold covered her eyes, and the special jutsu began playing memories directly into her mind. She saw it all. The future. The war. Her standing silently while Naruto was dragged to the execution platform. Her laughing with the others about how the demon brat finally got what he deserved. The betrayal. The cold indifference. "No, that can't be real. This is a genjutsu," Anko shouted, struggling violently against the chains. But the memories were crystal clear. They showed her own words, her own actions. Naruto stepped out of the shadows, his small 13-year-old body radiating dark authority. "It's all real, Anko-sensei," he said coldly. "You all threw me away. Now I'm taking back what's mine." Anko's chest heaved with rage and fear. "You've gone insane, kid! Let me go right now and maybe I won't kill you." Naruto only smiled. He approached her suspended form, running a hand up her fishnet-covered thigh. "You always acted so tough. Let's see how long that lasts." He activated the second phase of the seals. Anko's body began to betray her, forced heat spreading through her core. Naruto took his time with her. He started by slowly cutting away her clothes with a kunai, revealing Anko's athletic, curvaceous body. Her skin was lightly tanned. Anko's face burned with humiliation as he exposed her. "Don't you dare touch me, you little shit!" But her voice trembled. The memories kept playing, showing her future self's betrayal on repeat. Naruto cupped her melons, squeezing them roughly, pinching her buttons until she gasped. His other hand slid down. The full uncensored 18+ scene for only $4 on Patreon, over 1,000 scorching hot episodes waiting. Anko's hips jerked violently. She tried to resist the pleasure, but the seals made every touch feel electric. Fuck, stop, on! She moaned, biting her lip hard enough to draw blood. Her mind was a storm: rage, confusion, unwanted arousal, and the horrifying memories of her future self. Naruto stood up, dropping his pants. Anko's eyes widened behind the blindfold as she felt press against entrance. No way, that's impossible. He thrust in hard. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. You betrayed me. He growled between thrusts. Watched me die, laughed about it. Each accusation came with a particularly brutal thrust. Anko's mind fractured further. I'm sorry, fuck. She screamed. By the end, Anko was a drooling, nectar-filled mess. Nectar leaked, dripping onto the floor. Her belly was slightly swollen. The pregnancy seal activated. A daughter began to grow. The second of the 10 had fallen. Naruto stepped back, breathing heavily but satisfied. The chains continued their work, draining chakra, accelerating the pregnancy, and extending her life to immortality. She would never die until he allowed it. He created a second comfortable area in the dimension and left Anko suspended there, still blindfolded, forced to watch the memories on repeat while her body recovered. After everything was secured, Naruto sat quietly for a long time, just thinking. He remembered the exact moment in the future when he realized even Anko, the woman who had once trained him without fear, had turned her back on him completely. That realization had been one of the final cracks before the blade fell. Now the roles were reversed, and he intended to make sure she felt every ounce of the pain and humiliation she had helped cause. He also thought about the future daughters that would come from this. The seals were already working. They would be born hating their mothers and worshipping only him. They would grow into dominatrixes who would bring their own mothers back for daily use. This wasn't just revenge on the women. It was revenge that would last for generations. The thought brought him a dark, cold satisfaction. Kyuubi's voice rumbled approvingly in his mind. Not bad at all. 2 already? What are your conditions for releasing me when this is over? Naruto sat on Kaguya, who had crawled out of his shadow to serve as his throne again, and explained his 3 conditions clearly. Freedom from control. Protection from future capture. And most importantly, all his descendants would be females who worship their father and despise their mothers. The fox laughed darkly. We have a deal, partner. Naruto leaned back, stroking Kaguya's hair as she gently rode him. His eyes glowed with cold ambition. He spent the rest of the evening walking through the village once more, making sure his clones were still performing normally. He helped carry some supplies for the reconstruction effort, smiled at the children playing, and even accepted a small thank you gift from an old lady. To everyone else in Konoha, he was still the same loud, kind-hearted Naruto who had helped save the world. But deep inside, the plan was already moving forward without mercy. Hinata would be next. The gentle liar who had broken his heart the most in the future. Capturing her would require more care because of her Byakugan and her position in the village. But with Anko now secured and Kaguya fully under control, he was ready to begin the next phase. The hunt had only just begun. The dimension had become a twisted paradise of control. Kaguya served as both living furniture and constant source of pleasure. Anko hung nearby, blindfolded, forced to relive her future betrayal on an endless loop while her body slowly accepted the pregnancy seal. Naruto's power was growing with every passing hour. He needed more. Hinata Hyuga was next on the list, the one whose gentle smile had hidden the deepest betrayal in the future. In that timeline, she had been sleeping with Sasuke while pretending to love Naruto. Her quiet nature had made the knife twist even deeper when he discovered the truth. Tonight, she would become the third. Before the hunt, Naruto took his reward. Kaguya was on her knees in the center of the dimension, completely naked, her massive pale chest pressed together as she used them to stroke Naruto's thick wand. Her long white hair cascaded down her back, and her Rinna Sharingan eyes looked up at him with pure, addicted devotion. Master's sword feels so good between melons, she whispered, voice soft and broken. Naruto sat comfortably on Anko's suspended body, using the former kunoichi as a living chair while Kaguya serviced him. Anko whimpered softly beneath him, still blindfolded, her body trembling from the constant mental assault of the memories. Kaguya leaned forward. Want every forbidden detail right now? Unlock the full uncensored 18+ scene for only $4 on Patreon. Kaguya was a drooling, smiling mess, the perfect broken goddess. He left her there, nectar leaking, and prepared for the next hunt. Naruto stood up slowly and walked to the edge of the dimension. He created a small viewing window that showed the real world outside. The war was still raging in the distance. Explosions lit up the night sky. He could see the faint glow of Konoha far away. He clenched his fists. In that future they smiled at me, called me hero, and then they put a blade to my neck, he muttered to himself. Hinata, you were supposed to be different. You were the one who always looked at me like I mattered when no one else did. That's why it hurts the most. Kyuubi's voice rumbled inside his mind. Still thinking about the gentle one, kid? She broke your heart the worst, didn't she? Naruto nodded slowly. Yeah. That's why she's next. I want to see the exact moment her gentle mask cracks. I want her to understand that her quiet little betrayal destroyed everything. He turned back and looked at Kaguya, who was now gently licking the floor clean like an obedient pet. Anko hung silently beside her, still forced to watch her own future sins on repeat. The dimension felt colder than usual tonight. Naruto created a small throne made of chakra and sat down. He closed his eyes for a moment, letting the memories of his execution play in his head one more time. The cheers of the crowd. Hinata standing next to Sasuke. Sakura's swollen belly. Sarada's existence as living proof. When he opened his eyes again, they were colder than before. Hinata first. Then Tsunade and Shizen together. After that, the rest will fall faster. He stood up, created several shadow clones to keep watch over the dimension, and stepped through a portal. Hinata was on a solo mission near the border of the Land of Fire. She had volunteered for it, wanting some quiet time away from the village. The war had left everyone tense, and even gentle Hinata needed space. She moved silently through the trees, Byakugan active, scanning for threats. She never saw the trap coming. Naruto used Kaguya's abilities to open a portal directly behind her. A shadow clone appeared in front, drawing her attention with a loud call. The real Naruto struck from behind, slamming a powerful suppression seal onto the back of her neck. Hinata gasped, her chakra flow instantly disrupted. She tried to turn, gentle fists ready, but the seal and the sudden portal beneath her feet swallowed her whole. She landed hard in the dark dimension. Before she could recover, chains erupted from the floor and ceiling, wrapping around her wrists and ankles. They yanked her upward, suspending her in the classic position, arms stretched high, legs forced wide apart. A blindfold was quickly tied over her eyes. Hinata struggled, panic rising in her chest. Who's there? Let me go! Naruto stepped forward slowly. His young voice echoed in the dimension. Hello, Hinata. She froze. And Naruto-kun. Is that you? What's going on? This isn't funny. Naruto didn't answer with words at first. He activated the memory projection seals. Images began flooding directly into Hinata's mind. She saw the future. The war ending. Naruto returning as a hero. Then the betrayal. Hinata standing beside Sasuke during secret meetings. Her quiet confessions of love to Naruto, while her body belonged to another. The village turning on him. The execution. Her own face in the crowd, not crying, not fighting for him. Just accepting it. Hinata's breath hitched. Tears began soaking the blindfold. No, that's not real. I would never. I love you, Naruto-kun. I would never betray you. But the memories kept playing, showing every detail with cruel clarity. Her own voice. Her own actions. The cold truth of what she had become in that timeline. Naruto finally spoke, voice low and full of quiet rage. You were supposed to be the one person who would never hurt me. The gentle one. The one who saw me when no one else did. But even you chose him. You watched them kill me. Hinata sobbed, her body trembling in the chains. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, please, Naruto, this can't be real. The seals on the chains began their work, draining her chakra, accelerating her body's readiness, and extending her life indefinitely. The second phase activated soon after. Heat spread through Hinata's core. Naruto approached her suspended form. He placed a hand on her cheek, wiping away a tear with surprising gentleness. You're going to pay, Hinata. Slowly. Completely. And when I'm done, your own daughters will help me break you even further. He stepped back for a moment and looked at her hanging form. Even in this broken state, Hinata's soft features and gentle aura remained. It made the betrayal feel even heavier. I really did love you once, Naruto said quietly, more to himself than to her. That's why this has to hurt.